Morning team, today we will discuss very detailed payment card industry data security standard. I had extracted this PCI DSS original copy of PCI DSS which is managed by PCI SSC, and we will also discuss today ROC, AOC and some interview questions with respect to this. So this is the original copy, and after this we will go uh, towards interview questions which is described here. Some questions belongs to the scenario based, like this is the scenario based questions, and these questions may be very beneficial for you from interview point of view. So let's start with the original copy of PCI DSS standard. So the version is PCI DSS is 4.0.1. This is a copy of report on compliance template. So let me bring to you the original PCI DSS, this part. This is attestation, and this is the original copy. Okay, so the first page is a document and the changes where they describes that at what moment these documents got changed here. Second are the contents part, because I'm showing the real copy of the PCI DSS which is managed by PCI SSC. So here, if we can look at the content part showing introduction and PCI security standard overview, where all the principles of the PCI DSS requirements mentioned here. Like first is the build and maintain a secure network and machines, where install and maintain network security controls, apply security components to all system components. Here, many terms may be new for you. For example, in a system component. So I had covered all these basic definitions also in my interview questions, which I had just showed to you. Second requirement is a protect account data. How you protect? Like you need to ensure that strong encryptions during transmission over open and public networks. Third is maintain and vulnerable management programs. Next, access control measures, regular monitor and network and testings, maintain and information security policies. So, the thing which I want to show to you is this part. This part. This is the main important part for you. What are the 12 basic requirements here? In interview, this question generally asks that what are the 12 basic requirements? So the requirement one is here you can see it is mentioned in the page number 38, install and maintain network security protocols. And before that, this is the umbrella one, like maintain a security network standards, and these are the two requirements comes under this one. Um, Second, here first and second already mentioned. Third is protect stored account data. Fourth is protect cardholder data with strong encryptions during transmission over open and all. Requirement 5 belongs to protect all systems and network from malicious software. Requirement 6, develop and maintain secure systems and softwares. Requirement number 7, restrict access. Requirement number 8, identify users and authenticate access to system components. Requirement number 9 is restrict physical access. 10 belongs to the monitoring part, and 11 is the test security of systems and network regularly. These are the additional ones, and at last we will also cover the ROC and AOC parts. So, if I bring you towards the original page number 50, the mentioned in page number 36, page number 36, let me bring to you that page. Okay, this part, sorry, page number 38 here. So this is the requirement number one, installation and maintenance network security controls. You can see here requirement number 1 point. These all are very na- important. While you are preparing ROC and AOC, these all 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, these all are sub controls you need to check. Like you need to assess whether process and mechanism for installing and maintaining network security controls are defined. Network security controls are configured and maintained. NSC called as network security controls. In short, network access to and from the card data environment is restricted. Network connections and all risk to CDE. Okay. Here you can see the requirement and the testing procedures here. I will attach these documents in the description. You can watch and go through one on one this part. These these documents has said in very detailed manner, which is very beneficial for you to learn every components and subcomponents of this part. These parts. Okay. So once you assess all these PCI DSS controls, you need to go for the ROC part. Let me show you how ROC templates looks like. This is the short form of the report on compliance. Okay. Once you assess all those 12 requirements of a PCI, report on compliance are the very detailed assessment reports where approximately uh, more than 400 pages included. So in first page number, you need to mention that information of the assessment informations where instructions of the submissions here you can see the company uh, to whom you are assessing, company mailing address, company man addresses and all, right? Second details belongs to the assessor parts who is performing the assessors like ISA. ISA is internal security assessor. Okay. And executive summary part 2. Here, all the details like how business store process and transmit account data and also all the details should be mentioned here. Part 2C comes to the description of the payment card environment, how they are securing their CDE in network segmentation. Uh, Part 2D comes under in scope locations, that how many locations are you need to assess if they comes under in scope part. But the question is again raised that how do you identify that which applications and environments are the in scope and which belongs to out scope? I will discuss with you also in interview questions part. Okay. Here, if a third party, then you can process this one also. And summary of assessment, as you can see, requirement one, requirement two, all these you need to mark here. If requirement is in table, mark one as yes. If not applicable, mark here. Not tested, mark here, and not in place, mark here. And if any compensating controls, mark here also as a check. So requirement 1, requirement 2, requirement 3, requirement 4, as it is requirement number 12, you need to mark your comment, your checks here, depending on the assessments. And at last, you need to provide whether the environment is compliant, non-compliant, or any exceptions. So this is the original copy uh, of ROC documents. Now, come to the interview questions. Here, these interview questions I had prepared on the basis of real faced or which interviews I took, the questions which I generally ask to the candidates while hiring. So these questions included here. So first question always ask, right? What are the controls you assess in PCI DSS? So there are 12 requirements. Starts with the installation and maintain the network control securities. Second, apply secure configurations. Third, account data protections. Number four, cardholder data strong encryptions and cryptography during when data is in is in transit mode. Number 5 belongs to the protect all systems and network from the malicious. 6 belongs to develop and maintain secure systems and softwares. 7 belongs to restrict access to system components and cardholder data by business need to know. 8 is identify users and authenticates access to system components. Likewise, 9, 10, 11, and last one is the support information security with organization policy and compliance. This question's very important. How do you know that which environment is in scope and which environment is out of scope here? So the very straightforward. According to PCI DSS original copy, they are saying that if a system, you can see here, uh, if system components store, process, or transmit cardholder data and sensitive authentication data, should be in scope, straightforward. Or system component is on the same network or has unrestricted connectivity to systems that store, process, or transmit CSD data or SAD data. Second, if system components is directly connected to cardholder environment or security impacting systems, then these three are the criterias where you need to know that system components comes under in scope part. So um, this is how you can identify, and you need to include all the system components in your ROC, and AOC is the certification part. So, if system components impacts configuration or security of the card data environment, or system components provide security to the card environment, or system components segments cardholder environment systems from out of scope systems and networks, or system component supports PCI DSS requirements. So these are the some functions from where you definitely got to know that these system components comes under the PCI DSS scopes. So if I mention here cardholder data environment, which is comprised of system components, peoples who are managing this PCI, and process who plays important role to execution of the PCI DSS, that either they are storing, processing, or transmitting cardholder data or sensitive authentication data, right? Or system component that may not store, process, or transmit but have unrestricted connectivity to system components who transmit CSD or SOD data should comes under the in scope part here. Now, how to identify that which systems are out of a scope and not required under PCI DSS assessment? So, if system component does not store, process, or transmit CSD data, right? That is number one. Second is system component is not in the same subnet, same VLAN as system that store, process, or transmit CSD data. Number two. Number three, if system components cannot connect to any system in the card data environment in either way. Number four, system component does not meet any criteria described for connected or security impacting system as per above. This part. Okay. So these are the functions where you got to know the information that which part comes under the PCI DSS in scope and out of scope. So here you can see always there is a term called as system components. Many candidates are confused here and very high chances to do it. What is meant by the system component? So here system components includes network devices, configuration, computing devices, virtual components, and softwares. Examples of system controls includes systems that store, process, or transmit account data. For example, payment terminals, authorization systems, payment middleware systems, payment back office systems, shopping cart, storefront systems, payment gateway, switches, fraud monitoring machines, etc. should be a part of the system components. Means any small elements who plays an important role to execute the PCI DSS chart. PCI DSS work should be a part of the system control. System components also consist of your SIM, your physical security systems, for example, BAS CCTV, multi-factor authentication system, anti-malware machines, etc. All these are a part of the system components. System components also comes under internal security networks controls. This also uh, consists of the DNS like the domain name resolution and e-commerce web, etc. Virtualization components as a virtual machines, virtual routers, virtual appliances, and virtual application desktops and hypervisor could be a part of the system component. These are the four or five. Yes. End user systems. The laptop which you are using, provided by the company, is also a part of the system components. According to PCI, they are saying that end user devices such as computers, laptops, workstations, administrative works, tablets, and mobile devices who plays an important role for the function of PCI should be part of the system components. The printers, multifunctions devices that scan print functions also a part of it. The place where you are storing the PCI data should be a part of it, like paper, data files, audio files, images, should etc. Right? The softwares, the customs, the internal and external applications would be a part of it. Right? The configurations part, etc. would be a part of this one. Next question is the situational one. What the question is saying that you are assessing PCI for a company, HRMS server is processing employees transactional data. Do you include HRMS server in PCI scope, and also tell me two situations where HRMS not to include in PCI DSS scope assessment. So the PCI DSS is about, right, card holder, either PAN number, either CVV number or PIN number, or systems that can impact the PCI securities, right? This is what according to the PCI one. Now, assessors to identify before identifying in scope and out scope, right? Assessor to ask to to HR team whether HR server is storing processing cardholder data or not. Yes or no. You need to identify here whether HRMS system is connected to PCI environment or not, whether they are sharing authentication with PCI, whether HRMS is administrating PCI, or HRMS is impacting card data environment security in either way. If all these questions answer is no, then HRMS server is marked as out of scope. Or if any one of the answer is yes, then you need to mark as HRMS system in scope for PCI DSS assessment. Now come to the second part. In the second part, interviewer is asking for uh, tell me two scenarios here. Tell me two scenarios where HRMS servers not to include in the PCI one. So these are the two situations. Number one is segmentation. If HRMS is in separate network, if firewall blocks PCI access, no routing to CDI, and no sharing admin accounts, then you can mark as a HRMS server as out of scope. Or if authentication and management are on the different table, like the separate login systems for HRMS, or separate active directory, or separate administrator, and PCI use different platform for authentication. If any if this is a situation, then you can mark as a HRMS system as out of scope, this part. Okay. Question number six is, what do you think? Which zone you recommend to place PCI server and databases? You know how critical PCI is, right? So for PCI, the best practice is to place PCI server and database in a separate, secure, and network zone is called the cardholder environment. This place should not be merged either into DMZ zone, MZ zone, or any corporate zones. So In PCI zone, this is a different zone where you can place the payment application servers, PCI application servers, and cardholder databases, and encryption and servers. This zone must be isolated from the normal corporate network. As I said, it should be protected by the firewall. Uh, it accessible only by the authorized system and users like jump server and all, and highly monitored and logged. Okay. Next question is, if a server is in scope for PCI DSS, what control you validate? So all the 12 controls you need to validate for in-scope application or in-scope and system components. Number one is a server hardening. So server hardening, CIS is a benchmark, right? Where you need to check whether password is default or not. If a default password is there, right, you need to make sure that it should be changed. Unnecessary services disabled, unused port closed, and secure protocol used. Second is the patch. The server should be deployed with the latest security updates like OS patch created and critical vulnerabilities and patch records maintained. Antivirus and endpoint protections. The server should be installed with AV with signature updated and scans runs automatically. How the access controls managed on that server? Only authorized people should have the access, like you need to check the unique user IDs, role-based access, whether multi-factor authentication and admin access restricted or not. That PCI server should be monitored and logging every time, real time. So does login logs enabled, fails login attempts recorded, and logs protected from deletions and same monitored enabled. Vulnerabilities scanning, external approved scanning vendor and internal vulnerability scan and high risk vulnerabilities page. So from vulnerabilities point of view, you need to check whether all the vulnerabilities are mitigated or not. Network security firewall, like firewall rules documented only required ports open and PCI network segmentations. Encrypted server should be there in PCI DSS. So data encrypted at rest and TLS used during transmissions and weak protocols disabled. File monitoring. File monitoring is generally used to detect the unauthorized changes. If anyone has done or breached the confidentiality, integrity, and availability, then it may raise the alert. So alert generation on the changes, important files monitored. The backup of the PCI DSS should be happen, like backup running or not, backup encrypted or not, and restore testing done or not. Physical security, the CCTV installations, the data centers access restricted, and visitor logs maintained. So these are the controls. This question is very very important from interview point of view. Next question is, how you prevent PCI servers from login in large scale companies. So there is a server called as jump server. The jump server is used in PCI DSS environment mainly to protect a secure control and monitored gateway for administrator using PCI systems. Centralized access controls, you have you need to this jump server provides you the facility of easy to allow block users, easy to revoke access, one place to enforce policy. So I want to convey you why jump server we are using here, right? Assume that there is a PCI DSS environment, right? Like if you have 50 servers, right? So it's very tough to manage all the 50 servers. So better to integrate all these 50 servers into a single server called as a called as a jump server. So users to access the jump server and jump servers to access the PCI DSS either by SSH or either by RDP. So this is the use of jump server. So by applying the jump server, you need to only manage the securities on the jump servers instead of the maintaining all 50 PCI DSS servers. It's very easy from auditing point of view and easy to manage, but You need to ensure that no internet connections or unnecessary function should be run either on the jump server and on the PCI servers. So jump server should be deployed with the strong MFA also. The logging and monitoring also reduces surface attacks. PCI servers stay hidden. See, because the jump server is placed just before the PCI. So if you are using jump servers, then PCI servers is always in a hidden and private. Only jump service is exposed for admin access. Like I had said, right? Administration to access the jump server, and after that they need to take remote or RDP by SSH. So they should be done with the help of jump server. If you don't use the jump server, for example, let's say a situation if you are not using the jump server here. So what happened here? Every PCI server may need direct admin activity and very high chances because it's a human error. If you directly accessing the PCI environment, right? The chances of doing mistake will be high, and PCI DSS environment may go risky. But if you are using the jump server, then PCI DSS can block access from the user laptops, and this improves the segmentation. So it becomes less risk if you are using the jump servers. Okay. Next question is where jump server placed in network? Very important. Very important. This one is. So a jump server is normally placed in a separate secure management zone where this corporate admin network and the PCI zone. See, we cannot place jump server in PCI DSS environment. It should be placed between the corporate and PCI zone. Usually companies avoid placing it directly inside because jump server is in access gateway, more users connect to it, and a high exposure risk, right? If if jump server is placed outside the PCI zone, right? If any unauthorized access happen in the jump servers, then you can either block by firewall or other access controls. So the best secure zone is separate secure zone from where jump server should be deployed, and you need to access them. So I mean to say PCI DSS zone is completely dedicated for the PCI environment. Okay, from the ROC point of view, this question is very important, right? From ROC point of view, let me bring you on that one, this part. This question is saying this part. What are the types of findings I identified? You can see here. The types of findings are in place. If controls are deployed successfully, then you can mark here. Not applicable, right? Not tested by the assessor, and if controls are not in table. So these are the four options: in place, not applicable, not tested, and not in table. So this question asking here, so what are the different types of finding in HANA PCI? The answer is we examine whether controls are in place, not applicable, not tested, and not in table. So this is a screenshot I took from original PCI DSS one. Okay, so if you need guys real industry exposures with implementation on Archer, if you want to learn ISO 27001, if you want to learn PCI DSS, third-party risk management, GDPR, SOC 2, interview preparations, interview tips, one-on-one trainings, and implementation on the Archer, you can connect me on 9015997199 or Rajveer Singh AUG@gmail.com. I hope guys this session really helping you a lot because I came across these documents, and for you go through all these documents one on one. This is the report on compliances part, and this is the original copy of the PCI one. This part. So go through all these PCI, or if you need one-on-one uh, trainings, it would be better to understand every minor things, every small components, small doubts, right? That may help you to expose in the market, and it also helps you to switch your career. So, thank you so much. I hope this session helps you a lot. And thank you so much. Have a nice day.